just kidding. I'm not going to lip sync to myself. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a bonus live stream this week. My name's Joe Gilder. In case you just don't know me and you got here randomly, hi. Glad you're here. I'm streaming to you from my home studio. And I have run Home Studio Corner, which is my YouTube channel, since 2009, where literally my only goal is to help you make better music in your home studio. So, today what we're doing is production critiques. I'm going to listen to some submissions from you. How do you submit? Down below this video in the description, there is a link. It says enter submissions here, and there's a Google Forms link there. Use that link to enter your submission. All I need you to do is just fill out your name and a link to whatever song you want me to listen to. So, I mentioned this on Tuesday. Oh, I guess that's that. Yes, what's today? Wednesday? Yeah, Tuesday. When I did this yesterday, that part of doing music is having it ready to share with the world, for example, today. So if you don't have a link to your song because you've not finished your song, you can't share it with me and I can't listen to it. And that's sad. So it is a very ugly form that link takes you to, but it will take you to the right place, and then I will get those submissions, and then we will have fun, and I will listen to a few. So I'll give you a few minutes to submit them and make sure that that's working. Because I forgot about it until just now, so I put the form together in like 60 seconds. So waiting for responses now. How do I get to? Okay, so it'll take a few minutes for responses to start populating. So in the meantime, hi. I want to listen to your music, and I want to offer a critique of the production. Why am I doing that? Because this week I launched a new course called Understanding Production, which is all about, you guessed it, production, which is what happens during the recording session. We know how to record, we know where to put the microphones, hopefully, but what do we record? What instruments, what parts, how does the arrangement go? All of those decisions are crucial and have been overlooked by myself in the stuff that I've trained you for. They can't use the link, says I need permission. Well, stinky. Hold on, let me see if there's another setting I can restrict to. Oh, hang on. Okay. Hold on. Limit to one response. No, don't limit to one response. Hit save. Okay, try it now. Should be working now. I apologize. I kind of threw this together. I completely forgot I was doing this. By the way, before, so try the link again. I'll repaste the link here. It should all be working. Just before this live stream, I was actually to lunch. If you know, do you guys know Chris Salim from Mixdown Online? Great dude from Canada, and he's down in town for Summer NAMM, which sadly I'm not going to be attending this year. I know, that's crazy. Why would I not attend? Because there's just bad scheduling conflicts and such. Oh, look at all these submissions have come in now. Okay. I need to be able to see this differently. Individual submissions. There we go. Okay. All right, cool. So I've got some submissions now. I can pull some up. But yeah, I had lunch with Chris and his wife. Lovely people. I've met Chris several times, but I hadn't met his wife before, and they're down here making a vacation out of it, which is super cool. So anyway, if you don't know Chris, go search for Mixdown Online. That's his YouTube channel, especially if you're a Cubase user, but in general, if you like stuff like what I do, he's got some great information there as well. If you're just now joining us, I'm going to be doing mix critiques, or not, I'm sorry, no, not mix critiques, production critiques. I'm not going to critique so much, hey, the kick drum needs to be a different, you need to EQ it differently. It's more bigger picture production. What did you record? If you hear random noises, we're undergoing renovations right now, so there's someone right up there being very loud, and that's totally fine. But you'll hear some of that through my microphone, so don't be alarmed. No one's breaking into my house. All right, up first, Nathaniel, can we send a link if the song doesn't have vocals or automation, but the mixing is done? Sure, but if the song's not done, I can't really critique it. If it's supposed to have vocals and doesn't, you're not ready for this yet. So I'd say no. Finish the song, and then if I do this again in the future, I'll have something to listen to. All right, first up is Jason Achremont. The song is called Cryptic, and forgive me, I didn't put any place on the form for you to enter any notes about it, which maybe is a good thing. It just has me listen to it as is and offer some feedback. So let me move over here and let's take a listen and get this thing started. So being that it's an instrumental song, I've said this, I say this all the time, instrumental music is really difficult to get right because you don't have a vocal to fall back on, so you got to keep it interesting. I think you've done a good job thus far. We're about a minute in, and it's gone through kind of 3 different sections. We had big metal, and then kind of stripped back to that piano part that was very pretty and kind of different, and then going to go back in and get a little heavier now. My only kind of concern right now is the guitar tone. It seems like this could be a mix thing, but I always think it's a production thing. The guitar tones seem to be not meshing with each other. So I'm sure those guitars are doing something cool, but all I hear is like I hear those frequencies louder than anything else. Listen. I'm just hearing kind of white noise. Now, maybe EQ would fix that, but more likely is you recorded with just too much gain. And when you add multiple guitars and each guitar recording has a lot of gain to it, then you're essentially, if it's too much gain, you're adding white noise and not getting a lot of tone. So if you're ever recording electric guitar and you plan to add lots of guitars, say more than 2, then think long and hard about what tone you have. Especially on heavier music, you'll get more mileage out of going cleaner on the tone if you're going to have more guitars present than going all out, all the dials turned to 11 and getting that kind of white noise sound. You end up having to do tons of EQ to fix it later. And remember, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to get it right at the source. We're trying to make it sound good at the beginning. So this isn't really a recording thing. It's really a production thing. And part of production is the tones that you record. Go cleaner on the guitars, and I think you'll end up with a better sound altogether. This is probably as much a songwriting thing as it is a production thing, but you've done a good job of, you take me on an adventure for a good 30 seconds and then you switch modes. So you don't do like that whole guitar solo, sick guitar solo by the way. You don't go back and do that whole section again. You've gone on to a new section with a different drum beat, different more syncopated guitars. It's kind of like you're saying, I'm going to throw a lot of sound at you and then I'm going to hold back for a second and let you recover. This really helps me stay engaged with the song rather than having to listen to the heavy guitars the entire time. It's a really good use of dynamics there. One quick note on those guitars. So there's that build-up and kind of the white noise I already talked about, but also there's a build-up in kind of the 1K range that's really spiky when all the guitars are together. So I already mentioned that dealing with that on the recording end with the guitar amp is a part of it. Then also you may want to try changing up guitars and amps and microphones can help with that too. If you're recording the same tone and you're going to redouble it, triple it, quadruple it, it can work if you do the same mic, same everything. But sometimes changing one or all of those up can prevent some of that buildup from happening. It looks like if I were to look at the EQ, that these guitars would have like a spike right here because they're all kind of resonating in that upper mid-range at like 1K. Now, it's easy enough to fix with EQ in the mix, but you'll get a bigger sound if they have a little bit of different tones on the tracks themselves to help it differentiate a little bit. Very cool. Good work. So I hate the way SoundCloud does that. One thing to keep in mind too is you may find, by the way, Understanding Production is out. New course. Check it out, understandingproduction.com. One thing to keep in mind is there are times when you can look at all these submissions. We already got like 40 something. That's amazing. You may find that if you're listening back to just the raw recordings of the guitars and they're all on top of each other and you can't hear them distinctly, there's a chance that's something you can handle with mixing and EQ. But the more you can get some of that separation happening now, what I was hearing was a lot of guitars right up the middle and they were all kind of clouding each other. Now I could separate them out with panning and use some EQ to fix that, but I think part of it would be to work on the recording to where my goal when I record anything is to, by the end of the recording, to be able to hit play and say, man, this already kind of sounds mixed. If that's not happening with your recordings, keep working on that. Let that be your goal. You won't hit it every time, but if that's your goal, you're going to do a much better job with just the way the raw tracks sound. All right, up next, Philip Engelhart. We got a song called Don't Hold Back. Let's take a listen. Yes, I was already interested with that piano groove or just that straight rhythm. I was curious where it was going to go, and you surprised me with vocals and drums. Super great way to start. I just have a sense. We're 10 seconds in. I got a feeling this is going to grow and build and stay super interesting. I'm digging it so far, brother.
And I am giving all of that back to you, and I won't hold back. You are okay, you are forgiven, you are worth so much more than you knew.
Could we go from verse 1 to verse 2? Ish, or it could all be one verse, but the second section added a harmony and a little more of that string stuff, but added a harmony. Doesn't have to be huge, but that's a little more interesting. It says, hey, yeah, we're in a new section.
You could be, so don't hold back. You will do amazing things in this life with what you've got, bigger than your greatest dreams. So don't focus on what you're not. You are so much more than you know. So don't hold back.
Great, like textbook production. I think it's great. You've already got It's built up into that chorus, added that super sweet guitar part on the right-hand side. A couple other things are coming in there. Drums are getting a little more aggressive, but it still feels, we're a minute in, it feels like, yeah, this is going to go somewhere else. So we had a good first chorus, solid first chorus, but it wasn't so huge that we don't have somewhere to go from here. So I'm excited to keep going. By the way, if you're just joining me, I'm doing production critiques for folks. You can submit yours. There's a link below this video in the description. But I got to warn you, there's tons of submissions already, so you might already be out of luck. But stick around. There's a lot to learn. Somebody said in the chat they learned more yesterday just from listening to the other people's critiques, even over their own. So stick around. You might learn something. I'm learning something. Nice use of strings there.
You will do amazing things in this life with what you've got, bigger than your greatest dreams. So don't focus on what you're not. You are so much more than you know. So don't hold back. Give me something I can use, 'cause I really don't think I can make it through this one. And tell me lies, tell me anything you choose, 'cause I gotta believe I can make it through this one. Give me something I can use, 'cause I really don't think I can make it through this one. And tell me lies, tell me anything you choose, 'cause I gotta believe, gotta believe, gotta believe. You will do amazing things in this life.
Really great. I love that you just stripped it down and then built it up, vocal, and then extra like harmony, gang vocals coming in along with it. One thing I would do here that I was hearing, and if you do this in just a minute, then I totally disregard this, but the let me rewind just a second because I have an idea that I think would be cool.
Lies, tell me anything you choose, 'cause I gotta believe, gotta believe, gotta believe.
So they just came out of singing gotta believe, gotta believe, gotta believe. It'd be cool if that gotta believe continued throughout. So if it went something like this.
Will do amazing things.
Gotta believe, gotta believe, gotta believe, gotta believe, gotta believe, gotta. That's a total subjective thing, but I was hoping for there to be a tie over from that bridge into this chorus, where, or even maybe if this chorus repeats and then bring those background vocals back in, kind of ties everything together and gives you a massive amount of stuff happening at once, which makes it feel pretty huge.
You are so much more than you know.
Even on the, when he holds that, you know, there's a space there, you could put gotta believe. You totally did it. You totally brought the bridge back in for this outro. I love that. That's great. Well done. Well done.
Don't hold back. Don't hold back.
Well done, dude. I wonder if you could even have that bridge thing, that hook coming in for the whole chorus too. If it's just kind of this, sometimes, I know I talk about how like don't have anything distracting from the vocal, but sometimes having like a secondary part where it almost kind of sounds like something being done in the round and gets a little chaotic can be cool too. I wonder if that would work, but I wouldn't change a thing, honestly. Really, really great work. Man, y'all are so talented. We've got some talent around these parts. Super impressed. Love it. All right, up next, let me pull this up before I read out who it is. Steven Schaefer is up next. The song is called Buffering, which would be hilarious if the song just buffered every time I hit play. I'm going to hope that it doesn't. If you're just now joining us, I'm doing production critiques. I'm listening to your songs, and I'm offering critiques on the production itself. Not so much the mix, not really the recording, but the production. How can we produce this better to make it even more interesting and engaging? Or, hey, that was awesome. Listen to what a good production sounds like. Both are possible here. I'm not saying this because I'm the best producer in the world, and I know everything there is to know about production. I've just produced a lot of songs, and I want to share some of that with you so we can all kind of get some ideas. By the way, new course, I don't know if you can see this when I zoom in, understandingproduction.com. It's awesome. I take you through step by step through a bunch of songs that I've produced and show you how I went about thinking about it and kind of landing where I landed on some of these productions, which some of it's a crazy journey and you end up with 70 tracks and it's amazing. But some of them are more stripped down and it works both ways. So, all right, we got this song from Steven Schaefer called Buffering. Let's give this sucker a listen.
I'm not used to all of this sitting around. Last I heard, you were the talk of the town. Think you abuse me, yeah, you shoot me up and spit me out. Yeah, you hung me high and dry. Don't you mind? Just take your time. I can't take this buffering. I'm suffering. My legs are burning from all of this running. Now I'm just asking for a little something. No, all I'm getting is nothing. All I'm getting is nothing. So I'll keep buffering.
So a song like this, I think we had one similar to this yesterday, kind of more in the punk vein. Two guitars just cranking out, just wailing away on some power chords, which is great. It sounds like a punk song or in that kind of vein. So you're not going to probably have the same production mindset as you would with the last song, right? The last song, lots of different elements, bringing things in and out. Beautiful, great, awesome. This one, that would feel weird if we did that, right? So the only thing I'm hearing is we're a minute in, minute 15 seconds, about a third of the way through. I was hoping something new would happen. I'm not saying bring in like an acoustic guitar and a mandolin. That would be silly. But if there was like a higher electric part, like a up top to kind of give me something in the higher register, just to give me something interesting to listen to during this kind of turnaround before the next verse comes around. That's the only thing I'm thinking of right now.
I thought I could trust you, but you build me up and burn me down. Lock me up inside your heart. Lock me up and threw away the key. Maybe I was better off alone. I'm starting to mind this isn't fine. I can't take this buffering. Already know that I'm suffering. My legs are burning from all of this running. Now I'm just asking for a little something. No, all I'm getting is nothing. All I'm getting is nothing. So I'll keep buffering, buffering and buffering and buffering.
So from a listener standpoint, I think mix-wise, it could be a little brighter. You want to keep that lo-fi feel. The vocal feels kind of thick and muddy. I know this isn't a mix critique, but I like the vocal performance a lot. I want to hear it a little more. So this is the point in the song. We're about 2 minutes and 12 seconds in. Something needs to happen now. I'm starting to get to where I'm losing interest because I feel like I've heard this song. If we skip around.
Buffering and buffering. I still but you. There's nothing. I thought I could trust you, but
See what I'm talking about? If we skip around the song to different sections, it kind of sounds the same. Doesn't sound much different. Like it's not taking me on much of a progression. So at this point, something new probably needs to happen, or the song needs to wrap up. A lot of times these old, like really fast kind of punk songs, they just kind of end pretty quickly. That might be an option here, unless something cool and new happens. Otherwise, if it just repeats what we've already heard, the listener's gonna start to lose interest, at least in my opinion.
Buffering and buffering and buffering.
And 20 seconds after I said that, you went to a completely unexpected place. Way to go, you rescued it. I love it.
Run away now into the sun. Run away now as if it's for fun. You used to say that maybe someday, but maybe someday just slipped away. Run away now, face all your fears. Don't try to collect all of your tears. You used to say that maybe someday, but maybe someday just slipped away. You were mine, this isn't fine. You come up to me, you wasted life. All I'm getting is nothing.
Very cool. I think you did it. Like, it's funny when I said something new needs to happen, and you introduced it like a whole, almost like a new song within a song, and then it kind of references back to the beginning, and you went that really high note, super rock star, awesome. Love that. By the way, the band name, if you can't see it on the screen, is called Rendered Worthless. The song's called Buffering. They got a Bandcamp. Go look for them if you like that and want to hear more. If you're just joining us, I'm doing production critiques. I'm listening to your music and then offering suggestions on ways to make the production more interesting and engaging, if indeed it needs to be more interesting and engaging, but you guys are kind of crushing it, so you're making my job really easy. Up next, we've got Max Holton Anderson. The song's called Tyler's Jam in C from June 25th. Well, that was just 2 days ago. This jam is fresh. Let's hit play, take a listen, see what we got. Ooh.
Then break off your tires, let him open your eyes. 'Cause war is far unfair. Then get past your colors, get to know one another. 'Cause we're all the same. No, you gotta change. Well, then I said break down to the sound of fear. Oh, then brace yourself.
So that's a great example of keeping the dynamics. You didn't add more instruments. You just went from like chill electric to crazy like aggressive electric and then pulled it back for the turnaround after the chorus. That's great. That's essentially like adding more tracks and bringing it back. It's what, I mean, it's some of the stuff I feel like I say it. It's so super obvious. Bands that have good dynamics tend to be funner to listen to. And you just pulled that off with the performance rather than adding more stuff in production, which is super great. Love it so far.
Your dreams when the power of love overcomes the love of power, well with no peace and all it means.
So it wasn't until this breakdown that I hear that organ, and you know Joe loves him some organ. I wonder if the organ was there during that last chorus. If it was, turn it up. If it wasn't, it might be worth trying to add it, because that chorus sounded a lot like the previous one, which is fine, but it'd be cool if there was something new added to that second chorus to differentiate it a little bit. Okay, it was there, I just didn't hear it. That's my bad.
It's done.
Vocals feel different here. I don't know if that's a double or if it's like a cool effect. I could be wrong. It feels like that's different from what we've heard before. I love that. It's something new and interesting that you've added in that makes me go, huh, what? What's happening? That's cool. Dude, that was a fun song. I thought it was going to go in one direction and just stay with that groove the whole time, which I was worried was going to get bored or boring, but you took it in a lot of cool directions. That solo was amazing. We got some guitar players up in here. Love it. Good work, good work. All right, let's move on. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. I got 27 more minutes of this stuff. This is fun. We may need to make this a regular thing, y'all. I'm big on over-promising when I haven't thought through it, but I feel like we spend so much time, if you're in my world, we're talking about what I'm doing, what I'm working on, music I'm doing, all that stuff, and I know you probably are interested in that to a degree, but it's fun to kind of step back and listen to what you're doing. We do this every month with my VIP members, by the way, if you want to join that, where we listen. I give you challenges to submit, then we listen through the submissions, which is fun. There's a bunch of Vipers here on the stream as well. But all this is kind of its celebration of a new course called Understanding Production. You probably heard about it. It's new this week. Just released it, just put it out. It's in the members area. You can get it on sale this week at a discount, or you can become a VIP Gold member, which is fairly new as well, where you get access to all 21 of my courses for the price of admission, which is pretty sweet. So check it out if you're into diving into some deeper training. But let's go back to some music, huh? Next up, Brian Jones. If this is the same Brian Jones that I know, this is one of my VIP members, and he rocks pretty hard. Song's called Solitude. Let's take a listen. So what's that happening, that like scraping sound? I thought somebody was like scratching on the roof of the ceiling up here. I don't love it because I'm not sure what it is, I guess. It's gone now. Okay, he says it's wind. Didn't sound like wind, it sounded like something going like scraping across the floor, which might be cool, but it wasn't clear. So I love the two guitars, kind of the rhythm guitars playing the arpeggiated part, the kind of picked part. That feels cool because that's hard to do. I'm assuming it's doubled. It's hard to play that kind of stuff consistently. So I like that it's doubled. It gives it lots of width, makes it really interesting. And then on this kind of, if we're calling it like a chorus section, another guitar comes in up the middle that's doing some other kind of finger style thing, but that feels like it's conflicting with the previous one. So they're doing dun, 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 or whatever, and the one in the middle does a slightly different rhythm, but it's similar enough to where it just feels like it's not adding anything. It's just a little more distracting. So I don't know if I would have that there. 3 guitars doing some sort of like, it's not finger pick, but you get what I mean, like a single note picking kind of thing, flat picking sort of thing. It gets a little dicey when you go more than 2. So I'd think about that one again. Okay, fair. I'm not a drummer, so I know sometimes drummers, especially when they go to play, when they're kind of showing off, they'll play these weird beats that have like accents on the wrong hits, not wrong, but just, or they'll play like a measure of 5/4 in there, and they'll hit these random accents at places I don't understand and recognize. I don't understand what time signature we're in at this point, because it felt like we were in 6/8 before. So the guitar's playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and maybe it's playing like a triplet thing over a 4/4 beat. But since there's no groove, you've essentially spent a minute and a half establishing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what I'm thinking. Then when the drums come in on more of a like 4/4, I guess, sort of beat, I feel I don't know where the 1 is anymore. Like if I was playing along, I'd stop because I don't know what's happening, because I don't know. And then maybe that's a good thing. He says his drummer's a maniac. When he comes in, I'm having a hard time, like, I couldn't count the beat anymore. So I don't know what that means. It could mean that it's amazing and brilliant and I'm just too dumb to get it. Or it could be that it's hard to follow and something else needs to, because we've gone just guitars up to this point. Drums are coming in, not playing the rhythm I've been listening to, so I'm a little confused. Something to think about. I don't know what that means, but it just felt a little odd to me. So it goes to a 4/4 beat. That's cool. If you take a 6/8 and then go to like a 4/4, so it feels more like those guitars have just been playing triplets the whole time, that's really interesting. But the drummer's playing snare hits on, he's playing snare hits on like the and or something. I can't quite figure it out. He's just hitting one snare hit in a place that makes it confusing. Okay, now he's just being obnoxious. Like, no offense, it's just now I don't know what's happening. Like, I can't bob my head to any sort of a beat, which makes me want to just move to the next song. Even though the guitar tones are cool, the solo's super cool. I like where it's going. I'm just having a hard time knowing what's happening right now. I do like the jangly, whatever those things are called, the chimes. And I liked the, was it taps at the beginning, just a part of it? Like, that was cool too, like a cool touch, and not in the same key as the song. Super cool. Michael Henke says, sorry, but I like the signature change. I'm with you. I like it if the drummer played that, but he's playing like a funky beat on top of the time signature change, which I got lost on. I do like the idea of going to a different time signature. That's kind of cool. It was just the drum beat was hitting on some weird notes, so I didn't know if he was playing 4/4 or if it was some weird thing that I didn't get yet. Up next is Ken Moss. Ken's also a VIP member, and just so you know, I'm just going down these submissions as in the order they were submitted. So I know that lots of you submitted. I mean, we're up to 60 submissions. Thank you. I'll probably do more of these. The 60th submitter, Sam James. Sorry, I'm not going to get to yours today, but I hope you'll stick around anyway because this is super fun. All right, Ken Moss. Song is called Always in Our Hearts. Ken's another VIP member. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen. I know this is a production critique, but whatever that shaker tambourine thing happening, it's way louder than everything else. So I can't really hear everything else because I got to turn it down so the shaker tambourine doesn't chop my head off. So bring that sucker down. All right, cool, Ken. I think the chord progression and some of the melodies are interesting. It's overall a little on the dull side. Just it doesn't keep me interested. If we skip through the song. Like it stays almost the exact same instrumentation the entire time. I know the very beginning didn't have that synth lead part, but then once the synth lead came in, that was it. That loop continued the entire song. Just there was a lot of stuff that just was always present, and it makes it not as interesting because it was like, well, I know this loop's going to keep going, and it does. Nothing changes. So a big key part of this is it needs to change. And instrumental music makes it even harder because we don't have lyrics to rely on. But also it was very linear. Like you maybe brought in one or two things, but it didn't take me on really much of a journey, if that makes sense. So, all right, up next is Rex Allen. What's up, Rex Allen? Got a demo called All Those That Matter from Touch of Grey Studio. Let's take a listen. Here we go. Somebody's out of tune. I'm not sure if it's the acoustics or the electrics, but they're all a little kind of not quite in tune.
Met at the lowest tide of my life, not looking for love, let alone a damn wife. Angelic eyes, diamond eyes, ocean blue. A gentle, sweet nature that I never knew.
Timing's a little loose. I can't tell if it's the acoustics or the bass. I think it's the bass. It's just not really hitting with the kick drum, which that alone will just make the whole thing feel more loose and also make it feel just a little muddy even because of the sloppiness of timing. So that's stuff you can do some with editing. If you've taken my Understanding Editing course where I talk about how to pocket things and get them lined up, there's lots of ways to do it. The best is, of course, to practice with a click track and get really good at playing on the downbeats. Doesn't have to be perfect and robotic, but those downbeats need to be tight, and they're kind of loose right now.
All those that matter are all that I need, away from a world full of hatred and greed.
It may be the drums that are out. I'm not sure. If it wasn't done to a grid and you're playing drums along two guitars after the fact, or like playing in the kick drum on a keyboard, that may be the case, but something's not really locked in timing-wise.
Living this life, it's so easy to see. All those that matter are all that I need. 7 years on, a decision was made. Bring love to our life of a child.
I like that you waited till now. We're through the first chorus to bring in the piano. That's a great way to differentiate verse 2 from verse 1.
How long we prayed, 3 more years flew by, one more bundle of joy. Our world will revolve around this girl and this boy. All those that matter are all that I need, away from a world full of hatred and greed. Living this life.
I did not see that. This kind of has almost like an Irish folk tune kind of vibe to it. Did not expect the chunky electric guitars to come in, but they're just kind of sneaking in. Have you heard them? The junk, 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 junk. I'm excited to see where this goes. That's a cool addition that I was not expecting.
Now my soul, it is free. All those that matter are all that I need.
I didn't expect that either. That's awesome. So I don't know the story behind the drums. If this was played in on a keyboard, if you programmed it in on a grid, what it is, but it's just kick and snare. I don't hear like a hi-hat or anything else keeping a beat, which may cause more problems because if you have more rhythmic items and things aren't rhythmically tight, it just makes it more sloppy sounding. But I wonder if you played along to, if the guitars played along to if that would, because right now I'm just hearing kick and snare kind of randomly. Not randomly, they're playing a groove, but there's no like tighter subdivision in there, like a hi-hat. That would be great. It makes the song feel like it's starting and stopping, like jung, 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 instead of dum da 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 dum ba da da dum ba da da dum. Does that make sense?
The kids are all grown, living lives of their own. One tends the home fires, one's destined to roam. This journey of living and loving we've known. Our bond stands unbroken, built solid and stone. All those that matter are all that I need, away from a world full of hatred and greed. Our lives really what we expected would be. All those that matter are all that I need. Keep shining your light upon all that you see. To more for others, forget the word we. A weight will be lifted, a pressure eased.
In addition to the hi-hat I mentioned, some shaker would go a long way here.
All those that matter are all that I need. All
nice fade out at the end. I thought it was a really fun song. I think I'm guessing this was more programmed drums, right? I wonder if you got a real drummer to play on this, if it would just take it completely in a cool new direction, right? If you've never done it before, I've told this story 1,000 times of people who were asking me how to program drums, one guy in particular, and I said, just hire my buddy Tim, send him some money, an MP3, and he will send you back amazing tracks that will be infinitely better than anything you'll ever program, even if you spend a ton of time learning how to program. Not saying you're bad if you program, but that one especially is such a minimalist drum part, that song could really stand some drums and percussion to really take it over the top. So something to consider. You can probably find people that would do it for free just to have something to work on, or like a barter situation where you offer some guitars on their tracks, they offer some drums on yours. If you're not a VIP member, you should join homestudiocorner.com/VIP. We've got people collaborating all over the place, and most of them aren't even paying each other. They're just having fun doing it. So that's something to think about. Also, if you join as a gold member, you get access to my new course, Understanding Production, where I walk you through the mindset and process for producing everything from big, huge 70-plus track songs that I've produced down to more simple acoustic stuff and everything in between. Heavier rock stuff, big, beautiful orchestral stuff, it's all there. And you get access to all the VIP stuff as well if you're a gold member. So check that out, homestudiocorner.com/VIP. Or if you want to check out that course by itself, it's understandingproduction.com. Okay, up next we've got, this just says Baz, or Baz Leon, or Baz Lion, if I'm pronouncing it completely wrong. Song is called Somewhere Nowhere Close, which is a super interesting song title. It says right here on the hashtag it's a pop song, so I'm excited. Let's do this.
Let's give it another shot. He said, that's not, he said, it's not exactly what I had in mind. Stay focused on your core, stretch out a little more, and I am sure you'll get it right in time.
I don't love the guitar. That's a style thing. It's got like one too many effects on it, and it's a little loose timing-wise, and the reverb feels a little odd. So I don't know. I may like it more as the song progresses, but it feels like I'm having a hard time knowing what I'm listening to at this point. And since it's just basically guitar and vocals, that's what brought it to my attention.
So I try again, I fail again, I try, but it's the same again. Try again, till I just try again some more. But then I watch you do those things, you make them look so easy. For a second I believe I can do that too. Then I try, I realize it'll take another 1,000 tries before I'm somewhere nowhere.
So the guitars, I didn't love the tone. The guitars feel a little out of tune. And this part sounds like there's two sets of guitars. If you're going to have a guitar with some different effects on it, like you do on that one that started the song, and you're going to double it, I wouldn't double it with the same effects. I'd have a different guitar tone entirely, or maybe a different instrument. Two of the same thing, especially when they've got some kind of chorusy effects on them, starts to feel weird and out of tune, which is exactly what this sounds like. It sounds like, oh, he forgot to tune his guitar. The guitar may very well be in tune, it's just the way the effects are making it sounds a little out of tune.
Close to you.
Like it's wavering, which can be cool in moderation, modulation in moderation, but there's just a little too much there.
Let's take it from the top. She said, wait, stop. She said, that's not quite what I had in mind. Let's try again once more. Pay attention to the score, and I am sure you'll get it right in time. And so I try again, I fail again, I try, but it's the same again. Try again, till I just try again some more.
All right, one thing you don't want in your songs is lots of what we call in Nashville diamonds, where you hold out a chord, bling. You maybe, if you're going to have that, maybe once or twice in a song, if at all. And we've already done this kind of build-up.
But then I watch you do those things.
So let me find it earlier in the song.
Make 'em look so easy for a second, I believe. Then I again some more.
So we already did that. Right here at the end of, I'm guessing, verse
Till
1.
I just try again some more. But then I watch you till
So
I just
that's like a 2-bar diamond. You didn't just diamond for more than I found. You went more, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. But then that can work. But if you're gonna do it, you really only do it once, and probably before the last chorus. But you did it here and then over here.
try again, again,
And this-
try again,
And this is the end of verse 2.
try again some more. But then I watch you do those things. You make 'em look so.
Okay, that one didn't even go on the downbeat. But you see what I'm saying? It's like the same. Like it's there's too many breaks. We did a session for when I did a tracking day session. I've shown those in some episodes before with Tim and Jason and Matt and Steve and me, where the song they sent us had a diamond happening like at the end of every verse, and we said we're not doing all of those because that's not good for the song. We'll do this one or this 2. You just got too many there, and it's an easy thing to do, but it also plays into the whole. It makes verse 1 sound exactly like verse 2. And if you've seen my video about the verse 2 rule, we kind of want them to be different. If they're exactly the same, it's hard to keep it interesting.
Easy for a second, I believe I could do that too. Then I try. I realize it'll take another 1,000 tries before I'm somewhere nowhere close to you. Before I'm somewhere nowhere close to you. Every attempt a blunt reminder to stay humble and admire those that passed. Where you still wanna go. When I have to admit I'm just not getting it, I think just 999 to go. But then I watch you do those things. You make 'em look so easy for a second, I believe I could do that too. Then I try. I realize it'll take another 1,000 tries before I'm somewhere nowhere close to you. Before I'm somewhere nowhere close to you.
The chorus is super catchy, like the I don't know if that's exactly it, but it's hooky. It's got a cool melody, cool like bouncy sort of chord progression. I like that chorus a lot. And the other thing I thought, and this would probably be too cheesy, but those guitars that are a little funky, the blah 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 blah, would be interesting if you could do that with some horns. Like get like a 3-piece horn section. I don't know. That may not make sense. That might be stupid. Plus, you may not know any horn players. I wouldn't go fake keyboard horns because that's really hard to make work almost ever. I feel like you can do fake piano. You can do a lot of things fake. But guitar and horns, you can almost spot them if there's fake ones from like a mile away. All right, my time is up. I know I didn't get to the majority of the submissions, but this was super fun. What's great about these is even if I didn't critique your song, there's something here for everybody that's listening. Whether this is your style of music, whether it's the instruments that you play, learning production it's a universal language. So you get good at producing anything. Learning how, like when you listen along with me and you critique it in your head and then see how your critique compares to mine, because we're going to have different ideas, you're going to get ideas, you're going to learn more of the critical listening skills, which that's a huge part of this, is learning how to pick apart productions and then work them through. I see people saying they're sad. I know y'all. We're up to almost 70 submissions and I would have to be here until like next Tuesday to get through them all. But if make sure you're signed up to my email list. If I do this again, I will email out and let you know so you can be here right at the start, get your submission in, and we'll do more of these. In the meantime, I don't if you want to become a VIP member, homestudiocorner.com/VIP. Look at that. I got it right there. Boom. It's right up there. You can become a VIP member. We do monthly live streams where we listen to the VIP member submissions, and you get a lot better chances of getting your stuff heard and critiqued and talked about there than you do here, where there's just an endless amount of people. But that's something to think about, in addition to getting all the exclusive content, and then if you're a gold member, getting access to all my courses. I'm here to help you make better music, whether you're watching the free videos, becoming a customer, or somewhere in between. I'm thankful for you, and I'm glad you were here to hang out. So with all that said and done, check out the new Understanding Production course. It's awesome. Check out VIP. It's awesome. And I will see you soon. Thanks.